Hello and welcome to another episode of Paisley Presents. My name is Paisley and today I'm joined by Stephanie.
Hi.
Is that correct?
That's correct. That's how you pronounce my last name.
Where does that originate from?
I suppose it must have originated from China.
China.
I
Okay.
am Chinese, but
I
I'm
should
from
know that.
Malaysia.
Okay.
And there are no vowels in that last name, so people, especially Westerners, find it very, very difficult to pronounce.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But if you follow the rule of the U and G,
Yeah.
I think you'll pronounce it just close enough.
Close enough. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad. That's cool. Well, I'm here to talk to you about, I guess, among other things.
Yeah.
Your new project, your latest project as a designer. But I'd like to kind of talk about your background. So I guess the first question to ask is, where did you study?
I graduated last year from Swindon.
Awesome.
Prior to that, I was back in Malaysia doing product design.
Sweet.
So I did that 6 years ago.
Wow.
And that kind of gives away my age.
I was just saying, I would have thought you were much younger than that, actually.
Yeah, it's the Asian skin.
Could be, yeah.
But I then got into industrial design. Not quite as glamorous as what I'm doing now, but a lot of drafting work. And for the last 2 years, for 2 years after that, I did a lot of drafting work, and then I kind of got scared into doing media advertising.
Oh, right.
And
More my area, I can relate to that.
yeah, well, I was more in sales and marketing.
Oh, okay.
Back in Malaysia,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
KL.
The fun side of media.
Yeah, the meeting people,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
glamorous part.
Yeah,
And then I decided I needed to get back into design. That's really where my passion lies, and
Cool.
I decided to move here 2 years ago. Finished my last year in Swindon and been working here in Melbourne for Mark Douglas Design for the last year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So I've been learning heaps about lighting, I guess the local culture, and whatever I took away from Swindon has taught me heaps about just being ready for the industrial world, I guess.
Yeah. That sounds really ominous, doesn't it? Industrial world.
For reality.
It's a scary industrial world.
Well, what I've actually took away was great because it really prepared me to what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
With all the skills that I need to understand manufacturing processes and to use the machinery that's sort of available in this time and age.
Yeah, okay.
Which 6 years ago, in Malaysia especially, it hasn't come that far yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my development in the past 2 years has grown a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so I guess what made you choose design of all things? Like 'cause obviously you did design before you went to Swinburne in the past. But even originally, like what sort of fascinated you about design?
I guess it's just loving beautiful things, really.
Yeah.
And being able to purchase them.
Yeah.
But it all started
the
probably...
consumerist in you.
Yeah, the mass consumer in me.
Yeah.
But it probably started and stemmed from high school.
Yeah.
I went to an international school back home, so their curriculum followed the British curriculum.
Cool.
And we had this subject called Design and Technology, which I'm kind of aware everyone in Australia has.
Yeah, we had something quite similar.
And
yeah.
I absolutely loved that subject and did really well at it.
Nice one.
And moving on from there, I realized I was pretty good with my hands. I love crafting and just making things, being in the workshop, woodwork,
Cool.
and paying attention to the little details that people probably don't have patience for.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I definitely have a couple of friends who've done industrial design and things like that over the years, and it certainly seems to be a bit of a labour of love. They seem to be pretty patient, or have to be pretty patient.
I know.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
say that all the time.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
a designer, you're just doing it out of passion. Don't
Mm.
expect to get rich from it. I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I really, really hope that one day everything I've worked for and strived
It's
for
gonna pay
will...
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
Yeah, that's good. You're planning to be rich.
I-
Planning to be successful.
Yeah, well, doing what you love and being successful at it.
Yeah.
Not really, financially successful, but
No.
just overall, just being able to be surrounded by things you like doing and
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So in terms of your, I guess I can call it your latest project,
Yeah.
which is the Halo one, is
That's
that correct?
right.
You can even possibly, I don't know, grab one and sort of show us if you like, but
Well,
it's sort of is it a prototype design we have here?
this is the prototype. There's spun aluminium.
Yeah.
What stemmed this idea was actually wanting to learn how to do silicon molding. And
That sounds...
I know. And
I know one area of silicon that's, that's big business.
Not that
Not that?
one.
Okay, well, that's good.
But silicon molding and using a design basically to learn about how the whole process works.
Yeah.
And I came to a point when I designed something, and initially it was a whole circular formation of the halo light, and I needed to do it and break it down so that it'd be individual pieces that I could replicate in the silicon mold that made sense.
Okay.
So that's when I was playing on SolidWorks and realized that there's so much more potential to the design in terms of having it being a modular piece. And what I love most about it is it reflects a user's personality. So you can have from the shape and the colors, it can be really how you interpret and define it.
That's cool, yeah.
So that in design is important for me to be able to have a design or have a lighting, for example, and make it your own. That someone else who has it has a completely different interpretation of.
Yeah. Sort of like an individual taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though it's a product that's out there selling on the shelves, you can still make it your own. And I love the whole customization, personalization idea to this.
Cool. And I think we're sort of living in that age now, aren't we too? Like with Etsy and so many other things where, whether it be a technological device or something that's not even particularly technological, but it's just like a diary or like whatever it is, and people really love that kind of customization, don't they?
I think they hold everything. Emotions nowadays is so important to be emotionally attached to something, whether it's a blog or a fictional character behind this blog, or even just with products especially.
Yeah, that's really true. So is there anything in, I guess, everyday life that really inspires you in terms of your design? So say for instance with the Halo light, was there any kind of like, I don't know, some artists really love like Art Deco, or some artists really love like kind of postmodern, like is there anything, I don't know?
Probably not. I do like sort of sleek, minimal, clean lines.
Yeah.
But my take on a good design would be something that you can actually make your own, I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there's sort of an unpretentiousness about that in the sense that it's a bit more sort of down to earth, a bit more practical and easier for people to like make and create.
Yeah, something that they can create and make it their own.
Yeah.
And nowadays, no two homes are alike. You've got places with really narrow sort of hallways, or even the entire apartment or townhouse. It's really narrow. You don't want your interior stylist to get a lighting that you love and try and work around it. You want something that works for you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the solution, I think.
Cool. And so, I guess, what do you love most about lighting? Like what's, lighting seems to be something you're pretty passionate about.
I think with all home furnishings, which I really like designing, it's just how it makes you feel when you're at home, when you're surrounded by the products, the ambience that it provides, and the sort of comfort you get from the products that you use. Because a lot of people, I think whatever people own, whatever they like, tells a lot about their personality.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the part that I think reflects you and your taste.
Cool. And I must admit, like, I know very little about lighting. My kind of experience of lighting is with theatre.
Yeah.
So in that sense, the kind of lighting I've been exposed to, literally, and also when I used to do, the technical side of it. I think maybe in theatre, almost more than any other area of your life, it is such a kind of moral compass, or it is such a way of manipulating people's emotions. Not only the characters on stage who are lit, in a certain way,
That's so true.
but also the audience getting an impression. Like, you think of blues and and whites as being calming and sort of restful or maybe pure, and then more like your sort of reds and yellows you think of danger, and like it's interesting how certain colours and even certain styles of lighting can induce a certain feeling in us.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say with your design is, to me, it seems very, I like it because it's so classic and so modern, and yet there's something really old-fashioned about it. There's something very timeless. I think I said to you earlier, it has a quality to it that reminds me of like old kind of 1920s or 30s like pool table lights.
Oh yeah.
They had that little that came down. They were often like green, and they'd have almost like a nautical looking globe inside. But it has that feel to it, and yet like almost, I don't know, could you see these lights in like some funky bar in Melbourne, or?
I definitely could. I would love to see them in a really, I'm thinking like a bar or even like a cafe, because the potential of having it fit what your cafe represents in terms of the colours. It'd be awesome to have like a really nice clean cafe, white walls, and a rainbow of halo lights. That
would be really cool. Wow, can you imagine? Or even like a serpent, like a snake of lights through the whole building. That would be incredible too.
Yeah.
Like multicolours and stuff like that. That would be good. I guess who has been your biggest, not just influences, but who's really supported you through this journey in terms of graduating and then getting to this stage? Because if you don't mind me saying, you seem like pretty ambitious and pretty kind of successful already, which I think is very impressive.
Thank you.
For someone who's
I'll have to thank my mom and dad.
That's right. But for someone who's just graduated, you've done sort of quite well so far. So.
Yeah, well, I suppose I'm not a fresh grad per se.
True. Yeah, that's true.
And the life experiences that I've brought along working for the past 7 years has really brought me to this level to be ready for that. Gives you a good ethic, kind of. It does, and just the way you perceive the world, and even reflecting that back into your design. If you look at my old sketchbooks, you'd be able to tell how I've matured as a designer as well.
Wow,
I mean, Swinburne's been an integral part of my moving here. And I'm working with Mark Douglas Design now, and he's allowed me to learn from one of the most renowned artists / designers of his time. Not that I really know his age, but
he's an important dude.
He is.
He's good at his stuff.
You go out with him and everyone knows him.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he's taught me heaps. I've got Victor Legan of Victor Legan Design that's been great support so far. Before I won the award for the Edge, I was always coming up with ideas, and halfway through the whole prototyping stage, I'm like, I looked at it every day. Every day, working just on each little detail of the design. I came to a point when I'm like, are these even good? And I think it comes with every designer. Of course, until you're established to a point where whatever you churn out, good or bad, everyone wants it anyway.
Because of that label.
But then because this was sort of the starting point for me, I've had him to back me up, give lots of great tips, and even really help with the prototyping that went into the Edge.
Cool.
Yeah, so it came as a complete surprise to me when I won the award. I really only thought there was a sustainability award going out. So I sat back, was having a little drink.
Yeah, just enjoying yourself.
Just enjoying the whole show. And then my name was called. And because obviously they didn't know how to pronounce it, they completely murdered my name. And I stood there going, I looked around and I'm like, is that me? Because it would be really embarrassing if there was another Stephanie with another Chinese name that was hard to pronounce.
True. And you got up and you're like, oh, thank you. You're like, it's not you. It's not you. Just sit down. And you're like, oh, God.
Oh, that'd be so bad.
And now maybe, let's talk about lifestyle. Why not? That's how I've met you through this cool job that I now have. What would you say, especially maybe to do with the lighting, to do with the design as a design person, What's your favourite place in Melbourne to eat? Can be a restaurant, can be, any kind of food place. What would you say is your favourite place?
Well, I really, really enjoy my food.
Yeah.
I think especially since I'm Malaysian,
Yes. You
my
kind of grew up around
entire
that.
culture is about food.
Food, yeah.
It's great meeting up with friends or just anything over food really.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy cooking at home.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Just because.
Are you a good cook? Being a designer, are you like very particular?
I can't be great at everything. No, I'm kidding. I'm okay. I can cook. I do know how to cook.
That's good. Is your mom a good cook?
My mom's a good cook. My grandma's the best though.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But it's funny because you grow up with a certain palate.
Yes.
And from your parents or your grandparents cooking, and in the next household, same country, same Chinese family, completely different taste. And that's exactly why the Chinese food I get here is not authentic to me.
Yeah.
So I'd rather cook that at home and I'd go out and enjoy the Australian sort of, what would you say Australian food would be? Just,
I don't know. As is so, we don't have anything that's unique really.
Yeah. Well, I can't really pick a place for a restaurant. I really just enjoy all types of food and I like going out there and checking out all of the different restaurants.
You should go if you've not gone though. It's like I'm doing an ad for it, but Victoria Street is supposed to be the best in Melbourne for Malaysian food. Have you had any Malaysian food on Victoria Street? It's supposed to be very authentic, as you put it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I might have to go and try it.
Yeah,
the fact that
there's like 10 of them, wasn't there?
I'm convinced in my head that it's going to be tweaked to the Western palate.
Of course. Yeah.
I just don't go for Malaysian food like at restaurants.
That's fair. What about, are you a coffee drinker?
I would have to say I wasn't when I was in KL. And to be honest, there is no good coffee places there. There's your Starbucks and your Gloria Janes.
It's all rubbish. Yeah.
And I used to have it, but frap style with complete ice blended with a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
And that for me was coffee.
Yeah.
And
then you got to Melbourne.
And then I got to Melbourne.
That's
and I was studying in the Paran campus in Swindon.
It's coffee central down there.
Duke's Coffee was just right next door. And I have to say, no one has turned them yet for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the name?
Duke's? Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think I know that one actually. Just off Chapel Street, is it?
It's on Chapel Street.
On Chapel Street, yeah.
Just off, I don't know. High Street, just off High Street.
Just off High Street.
Yeah.
Cool.
This might be completely wrong, so read the credits
No, that's
later.
fine. Yeah, that's good. You're getting people the general idea.
Yeah.
That's good. And finally, I'm a big bar man. And Yeah, and some of my favourite bars in the whole country actually in Melbourne. Have you got, or if not even say bar, it could be a pub, it could be anything, but have you got a sort of a favourite place that you like to go drinking? Or somewhere you went for a drink that you really enjoyed? Could be romantic, could be fun, whatever you like.
I go to places that has good happy hour. Although
Spoken like a true student. Yeah.
But I'm no longer a student, so
you still got that mentality.
I do. In Malaysia, happy hour is a humongous way of life. Everyone's just, and I think here too, really.
Yeah, oh definitely.
Not a lot of places call it happy hour though.
No, yeah.
After work drinks is what it's labeled.
Yeah, that's right.
But I really enjoyed the Bridge Hotel that's just up the road from where I work.
Yeah.
And it's got this whole inside out, like you're sitting inside the bar, but you're actually outside.
Yeah.
It has that whole thing going on, so it feels kind of different from the rest of the bars that you get, because you want to enjoy the sunlight and the sunshine when you do have it.
Would you say it's a good design of a pub?
I'd say it's an interesting sort of quirky place.
Yeah.
So that's why people would like to be, there and.
I happen to know, actually, I know a fair bit about the Bridge Hotel, and just to tell you quickly, it's gone through about 2 or 3 different managers in the last 3 or 4 years that I've been here, and the most recent one. They completely did it all. So all the new thing where you can sort of tell what the developments are, it didn't have any of that even like about a year and a half, 2 years ago. They did it all up and refurbished it and repainted it and everything. Because it was like derelict and abandoned for like 6 months. About 2.5 years ago now. So
yeah. Even upstairs they have this whole, I think the owners must be a big camera or photographer sort of guy.
Yeah.
He's obviously got the passion for it because the wall lamps are camera lens.
That's amazing.
And there's this whole like big feature piece on a wall of cameras,
Isn't that
old
cool?
cameras.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's nice to take old vintage rustic stuff and sort of incorporate it into the new and the modern.
Yeah, I've always loved the kind of combination of old and new. So alright, well what is next for Stephanie?
Well,
There's such a pun there. It's like Stephanie.
It might get dangerous if every time someone says my name, that's the face and the motion that they
that's
make.
true. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to July for Planetex, which has an equivalent of the Edge called Vivid.
Okay, cool.
I'm hoping to do something a little bit new for the halo lights.
Awesome.
Still the same, but I think it worked really well. Completely different application for it.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone should just come by and look out for that.
Yeah, sweet. And just as a last plug, I'll let you do your shameless self promotion. So, have you got a Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Do you have a website? Like, what kind of stuff? I mean, I can put it like on the channel as well, but you might as well say now. Like, have you got any?
Well, I've got a website, which is featuring the Halo now.
Awesome.
And that's www.stephanieng.design.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. And you don't have a Facebook page yet?
I do have a Facebook page. It's a private one.
Oh no, I mean, do you have like a page for like the company or the light or anything?
No, not yet. I guess it's something I should set up soon.
In the future?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. It's been so lovely to talk to you.
Thank you.
Really good. And good luck with everything. I think it's going to be really good. I'm excited to go into some awesome bar or cafe
and see it
in a year's time and see them loop and loop.
In a year's time?
Well, 6 months. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to see that myself.
Cool. Alright, no worries. Well, thank you very much. Thanks. Cheers.